Hello everybody, it's Red Panda Gamer here for a quick look. Today we're taking a look at Goat Simulator from Coffee Stain Studios. This game is coming out April 1st, I might as well say that first, and it's a very strange game. I've spent about 2 hours with the game, and I enjoyed most of my time with it, to be honest. Kind of a spoiler, I kind of like this game, and I actually kind of already did a stream of the game for some people, and that was going to be my quick look, but I didn't really like the way the stream turned out, so I decided I would just do a more formal video with a bit more organized of my thoughts. So the whole idea of Goat Simulator is that it was a game from a game jam. I don't know exactly what the game jam was, but the people who made Sanctum and Sanctum 2, it's like a tower defense action game, decided, hey, we're gonna make this weird game with a goat, because goats were kind of popular on the internet with like the screaming goats and stuff like that. And actually you have the ability to bot in this game, and our main character is a goat. The goat has a name, and I don't actually remember what it is. But anyway, this is a game that's going to be released for $9.99 on Steam, and while, you know, the whole simulator craze is kind of an interesting thing, the whole point of this game is that it's kind of just absurd. I kind of consider it a combination of Tony Hawk Pro Skater from, like, back in the day, like Pro Skater 1 through, I guess, 8. Well, American Wasteland, I think, was 8. And Octodad, because it's just a very strange physics-based game. Now, essentially, the whole idea of the game is we're a goat, and we run around and we break shit. And sometimes it's simple stuff like hitting a stop sign. You know, like I could come right over here, I could headbutt that stop sign. Or I could come over here and headbutt this car. And it blows up. And sometimes it sends you out flying, depending on how you do it. There you go. So, there you go. There's some of the absurd thing you can do. And the whole idea is that, like, you want to get, like, higher points, and then there's also a bunch of, like, achievements, which you can see on the side there, where it says total score hard. That's, like, one of the last achievements I have left to do. If I go ahead and hit space, or escape, shows us all our quests. And I got through these, like I said, about 2 or so hours. They're not that difficult, but I also recommend not looking at them, kind of just figuring out for yourself. But as you do some, they'll tell you what the rest of them are. So the controls are very simple. It's WASD to move around, and then you use the mouse to kind of direct your camera. And then left click is headbutt, and then right click, you'll see in a minute here, is flips. And then you can also do spins. That's probably where like the most like Tony Hawk feeling bit of the game is. The fact that you can like do spins and stuff. And you do get points for doing spins, and there are actually achievements for doing more spins. This game has been getting a bit of flack before its release. A big part of what I've been hearing is this game is just stupid and broken for the sake of being broken and stupid. Yeah, I agree, but I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing. I mean, a lot of people have been saying like, oh, it's $9.99, why would I buy this dumb game when I could just go buy Garry's Mod? The thing with Garry's Mod, and this is just my opinion, and I'm sure there's going to be people who disagree with me, is with Garry's Mod, you kind of have to know exactly what you want to do before you do it, or you have to kind of rely on other people's modding, and you have to kind of rely on the Garry's Mod community, unless you're one of the people that likes doing modding. I'm not smart enough to do that stuff. I like Garry's Mod as much as the next guy. I really do like playing, you know, Trouble in Terrorist Town and stuff like that, but sometimes when I want to just have a weird time with a silly game, I'd rather just boot up a game instead of having to boot up a mod, you know, that just takes a bunch of assets from Valve's games, like Source Engine, and I want something that just kind of feels a little more unique. I mean, you could say the same thing about Stanley Parable, and it feels weird, but like, so Stanley Parable is a narrative parody, right? You could say that. I feel like I should be playing. I'm talking too much. Maybe I should have just done an actual, like, scripted review. Oh, I'm gonna miss the trampoline. I had a perfect landing, though. So Stanley Parable was a parody on video game narrative, like tropes and narrative, what it means to be like the controller of the game, you know. And I love Stanley Parable, and a lot of people like Stanley Parable, but much like Goat Simulator, not everybody did, and it's kind of interesting how it's like the two opposite crowds. But this game, unlike Stanley Parable, which, like I said, isn't a parody on video game narrative, this is a parody on video game control. And some people might not see it like that, and maybe I'm giving the game too much credit. It's totally possible, and maybe I just feel like I need to defend it since so many people seem to be just kind of be attacking it. For the simple fact that it's just a very silly game. And nobody's saying you have to buy this. It's $10, and like for some people, I played this for 2 hours, and I may play a little bit more of it, I might not, but I honestly think that 2 hours of genuine enjoyment from a strange game is totally worth $10. Like, I've paid $60 for games I only played an hour of and never touched again because I was just very disappointed with how it turned out. And this is just exactly what I asked for. Like, this is a strange, weird game where I can blow up a gas station as a goat and then get, like, a Michael Bay achievement. You know? It's weird, right? I mean, it's crazy, it's strange, and I personally love it. And it's not for everybody. Not at all, but it's not like you don't know what you're getting yourself into when you're playing this. And then other people have tried to claim, like, oh, literally this game is just made so it can make a bunch of money because PewDiePie is going to make videos on it. So what? PewDiePie has like 25 million subscribers. He kind of represents a large chunk of the gaming community on YouTube, like it or not. I don't personally like PewDiePie, nor do I really like his videos. And I still love this game, and I would never watch him play this because I think that sounds awful. There's definitely other alternatives, like games like Surgeon Simulator, and like I said, Octodad, which I think Octodad does some things with its narrative that are pretty impressive for how silly the game is. And Surgeon Simulator has some really interesting control stuff going on with it. This isn't as much like impressive in how you control it as much as it's just kind of impressive in how they've kind of experimented with this concept of breaking a game. So oftentimes you'll see these weird graphic little quirks with it. You'll see, like, you know, the neck of the goat stretching out, like the head kind of being pulled away from it. And you'll see just like slow down, and sometimes the physics of things doesn't make sense. And that's the part of the joke for me. Like, I get it. Like, it is weird, it is very silly, and it's crazy. And it's not like all you do is just run around and break stuff. I mean, that is a part of the game. Like 2 or 3 of the achievements is to get a high score, which, you know, you have your traditional, like, multiplier combo, like, you know, keep the combo going, and then the more stuff you destroy, better you do. But if you destroy a lot of the same stuff, your combo will go down quicker. So, like, in Tony Hawk, if you use the kickflip over and over and over again, the kickflip would be worth a less amount. In this game, if you hit the same, like, trash can over and over and over again, the trash can won't be worth as much. And you'll see that, like, when the letters are in gray there. So yeah, it's a silly game, and it's definitely not for everybody, but I really like it. And there's been a lot of negativity around it, and I could see why, because, as I said, it's not for everybody. But I think that its brokenness is charming, and I think that it is a funny game, and I personally enjoy it. And this is a game that I can have my girlfriend come around who doesn't really know much about I shouldn't say doesn't know much about video games, who doesn't really care much for video games, and she can watch me play it, or she can play it for herself, and we can laugh at it, because it's funny. This game is funny, and for whatever reason, people don't like comedy in video games, even if it's physical comedy. But, you know, physical comedy is the most basic form of comedy, and for this game, that's essentially what it is. Is this a ball pit? I don't think I've actually seen this. So see, I mean, I played for like 2 hours, and there's still some stuff I haven't seen. But I guess let's just move over a little bit. I can't get hit by the ball, I don't think. Can I grab this? So you can grab stuff. Oh man. Okay, so there's a bunch of like items you can find throughout the game, and I'll try to show a little bit without giving too much away. But essentially, these all give you abilities that you do with the R button, and this one lets us shoot stuff. It lets us shoot balls. And I didn't even know that that was a thing you could do, but it's just kind of crazy that there's still things I'm learning. And there's rioters over here, and they're demanding that we don't have any more penis-shaped food. Don't know why they're trying to get rid of penis-shaped food. Everybody knows that it's the best kind of food. I just blew up something over there. And I don't know, I will say a problem I do have is when you do pick up one of these items, they make it incredibly difficult to get rid of. Like, there is a jetpack you get at some point, and it can be incredibly frustrating. But the way you kind of fix that is you can really just reset the game. Without, like, resetting your score or resetting anything else, you can kind of reset the level so that you can kind of start fresh. So just go to respawn, and there you go. Oh no, wait, now it didn't. Shit. Now I don't know how you get rid of this. Because I thought, maybe when I pick something else up, it'll go automatically. Because I mean, it doesn't really bother me. It's just like if I pick, because I remember having an issue where I had the jetpack and some other stuff, and I couldn't really do much else with it. Like I kept having this weird thing where the two items weren't interacting very well, but I don't know. Maybe they fixed that, or maybe it was just had something to do with the two specific items I had. So there are like some weird little quest things that, like unspoken quest things, I should say, that the game doesn't really tell you, but that you can kind of find on your own. And I'm kind of reluctant to show those things because I think some of that stuff is really cool to find out on your own. But then like just little things like this. This is a slide that you can just kind of go down and, woo, like, you know, it's silly. Silly things. And that's what I like. I like silly things sometimes. It's nice to take a break from the military shooters and the over-the-top narrative of video games to sometimes just run around as a goat running into stuff. I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. And like I said, I do honestly view it as a parody on physics and control schemes in video games. And maybe that's like super pretentious to say. It's probably very pretentious to say. But I'm willing to bet that the people that made a game like Sanctum aren't as, stupid as people probably are thinking that they are. And I don't think they're stupid. I think they're brilliant. I think this game is fantastic. I really do. I think if we can combine a game like this and a game like Stanley Parable, we may have found the perfect satire of a game. Could be wrong. But I think we may have. So there's like a lot of little weird things you need to try to do. So like I said, these are the people that made Sanctum, and for those of you who didn't play Sanctum, you definitely should. Here's their actual studio. We can kind of come in here and fuck shit up. So these, like, going inside houses is almost always like a really good spot to rack up some points. But this is apparently supposed to be the actual Coffee Stain Studios, which is kind of funny. And if I took the time to look at all of their monitors, they're actually working on the game, which is super meta and really silly. And like I said, I really love it, regardless of what Mathis Game says. But if you're looking for a more harsh review of this game, and I'm not saying this game, like, I could be completely wrong. Maybe this game really is bad, and I'm just a big loser who loves weird indie games. If you want a more critical review, go watch Mathis Game's video on this, because he does say some things that I don't disagree with, but I don't really think necessarily put the game at fault. So, like, a lot of little stuff like this. Like, this is so dumb, but it's also kind of brilliant. Flappy Goat. So this is a game, like Goat Simulator is a game that makes fun of controls, right? And Flappy Bird was a game that kind of like made people like realize how simple a game can be. A game's controls can be. Like, it can be super addictive with just one button. I don't feel like it can be a coincidence that they put this in there, but maybe it is. Maybe they're just like, hey, Flappy Bird is like a super viral game. Like, the dude like took his game off and now we got an interview with Rolling Stone. Like, that's crazy. So let's put it in the game. I could be wrong. Maybe these guys really were just like masterminds, like financial masterminds of like, we know what we have to do to make money and we're gonna do it because Sanctum didn't do that well. We worked our hardest on it, tried to do something original, and it didn't work well for us. So now we're gonna make something that the internet's gonna love. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with wanting to make money. Like, I don't know. There's like this negative connotation with people who make things that people want, and that bothers people. Like, I'd rather them make a weird game for the internet than make another military shooter. Speaking of military shooters, can I shoot that guy up there? And I really haven't had any problems with the game crashing on me. In fact, there is an achievement for crashing the game, and I had to literally open up a custom-made level that I think the idea of it is that the level is too big, and it just automatically crashes the game so you can get that achievement. So I haven't really had many crashing issues. I've had slowdown issues, but only when I'm recording. So the slowdown stuff that you might notice, a big part of that is that I'm recording while playing this. And it's not too intensive. It's just, sometimes recording can be more intensive than anything else. And like I said, there's still a lot of stuff. Like, there's a way to become a demonic goat with crazy powers, and there's ways to get a jetpack, and there's some other cool stuff that I don't want to get into. But there are things to be found in this game, and I'm sure I could spend more time with it, and I won't actually find everything. And like I said, it's like the Stanley Parable in that way, which I think is super cool because I love the Stanley Parable. And if you don't like weird games, stay away from this. Like, don't even bother. Don't look at it. Don't go on like the Steam page. Like, I think this is stupid. Why would anybody play this? Because nobody really wants to know. Like, people already know that there's people that feel that way. So we have these, like... This is something I've actually not interacted with either. There's beacons. And I don't know why. But it looks like a crop circle. And I'm wondering what that means. Oh, God. Okay. So every time I lick that, it just kind of sends me flying. And there's also, like, little things. Like, you can put the game in slow motion. So you can kind of see, like, the impact as it happens. And little things like that are kind of silly, but yeah, it really just adds to the overall silliness of the game. Should I headbutt this beacon, or like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with it. But I feel like if I do something properly, an alien spaceship's gonna come down and take me away. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff to do here that like I have no clue how to do, and maybe somebody else will, and maybe I will look up a video on how to do this so I can go to space, because there is an achievement for sending your goat to space, and I don't know how you do it exactly, but whatever, we're not going to worry about it. So I don't want to make this video too long. I mean, I'm sure you essentially get the idea behind it, and I'm sure you'll see plenty of other videos about this game, and I kind of like the idea that it's another polarized game, because, you know, people, I like when people disagree on stuff. I like when people have a discussion about why a game is good, why a game is bad, if, you know, when it's bad to just be weird for the sake of being weird. I think those are all pretty important questions to ask, especially with the indie game scene, where there are a lot of games that can come out because of, like, without a proper publishing system, like, indies can put out this kind of stuff. Like, could you imagine, like, pitching this game to EA? Like, no, EA's not going to publish something like this. Nintendo? No, nobody's going to publish something like this. And that's kind of the beauty and, like, the danger of indie is if maybe nobody's gonna, maybe I'm alone in this. Maybe I'm one of the few people that actually likes this game. But I will say I like it. Unapologetically, I enjoy this game. I loved the Tony Hawk games when I was a kid. I really did. And I love strange physics games. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just fun. Like, good old-fashioned fun. There's nothing wrong with that. It's buggy, it's glitchy, it's weird, on purpose. Like, I honestly don't think that the people that made the game Sanctum are incapable of coding and creating a non-buggy game. That's not what they were trying to do here. They wanted to make them riddled with bugs, and it's not even like game-breaking bugs either. Like I said, I haven't had the game crash once. I've gotten like stuck into stuff, but those were some of the funniest moments in the game for me. Like when I was doing my stream, like I would blow myself up and just slam into like a gate, and I'd be stuck, and I'd be laughing my ass off. I think people just need to lighten up, to be honest. I think this is a fun game, and if you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. You can watch someone play it on YouTube. I don't really care. But I don't think it's fair to discredit a game as even a game. Like, saying a game isn't a game because you personally don't... I feel bad because I just watched Mathis's video on this, and him and I, like, we agree on a lot of things, and we don't agree on a lot of things, and I totally respect his opinion on most of the stuff he says. And I hope he'd say the same thing. But he, at one point, like, called into question whether or not this is a game, and I'm sure a lot of people will do that, and I apologize, Mathis, for specifically referencing you, but you were just the first person I really watched play this game, so I apologize. I'm more using you as a vessel to get to my point. I don't think it's fair to call a game into question whether or not it is really a game. I don't think that's necessarily fair. That's just like saying, what is art? It's a very big question that really just comes down to opinion. And if you want to say, I don't think something's a game, whatever, it's your opinion, but I don't think that's fair to say straight up, this is not a game. Because this is totally a game. I sometimes understand people calling, like, Gone Home into being a game, which it totally is, by the way, and I love that game. It was one of the best games that came out last year. But here we go. This is actually another secret. I was going to not show this, but I might as well because it's kind of a cool one. But we have all, like, these goat subjects here. They're all hanging out. And if we go on top of the throne, the nuclear throne, we essentially become a devil goat. But the problem is, we still have this crazy gun, so it kind of screws things up for us. But when we are the devil goat, actually, I think I did break the game by having both of these things at once. Oh, what did I do? How do I get out of here? I don't remember how to get out of here. Don't I just go out the front door? Like everybody else? I don't think I can summon when I'm using this thing. Yeah, broke that vase. Let's respawn. There we go. Whoa. That was weird. So, there you go. Yeah, you can summon goats now. And I'm just going to show this, kind of just close the video out. I feel bad because I don't really want to spoil stuff, but it's also kind of cool. So now that we can spawn these goats, and we are like part of the demon, like devil, or the demon goat cult, if you will, we can now come up here. Also, there's a cool giant boulder of death up here that we can knock down. But if you've never played Sanctum, I could see why, if you've never seen or heard or played Sanctum, I could see why you might be skeptical. But I've played Sanctum 1 and 2, and I thought it was like a really good game. It was polished, it was cool, it had a great idea, and I love the fact that a dev team decided to make a really silly game after trying to make a straightforward game that didn't do well. But whatever. So essentially we need to sacrifice stuff here, and one of the easiest way to do sacrifice is just to drop these goats down. And crazy nonsense happened on screen. And then, blood for the blood goat. We become even more demonic. Now we have a new ability where we can just kind of like grab stuff, force grab stuff, and kind of carry it around with us. But I will say, I don't know if this is a bug or if it's, I mean, like I said, it's hard to tell what's a bug and what's not. But when you're ragdolling, you get caught up in your own like force grab or whatever you want to call it. So your body just freaks out. Okay? So when I stop ragdolling, or when I deactivate my power, then it stops. But when you use the power and you're a ragdoll, it just makes your body go insane. And I just blasted off in through the wall. I was trying to say, I've never experienced a game-breaking bug. And there you go. Game-breaking bug. I broke it. Whatever. I mean, they make it really easy to respawn. I'm not really going to complain. Hey, they took my stuff away. Weird. Wait, unless I hit... No, I didn't hit restart. I wonder why they took my stuff away. Huh. Weird. That is actually weird. That's the first time I've actually had any kind of issue, though. So... it's not 100% for sure. But anyways, guys, I'm Red Panda Gamer. Tell me what you think about the game in the comments below. What you think of these types of games in general. Physics, silly-based games. And like I said, yeah, it's marketed towards PewDiePie's audience. But PewDiePie audience is like 25 million people. I'm not saying they did it just for money. But I'm saying money is never a bad influencer when you're trying to make something weird. Like, I hate to say it, but like the PewDiePie audience is sometimes a good thing. Because it allows developers to know that there is interest out there for their really weird game. And I don't feel like people think about it that way. Like, think about a game like Octodad, or think about... No, actually, even better. Think about a game... I'm going to mention a game that maybe not everyone thought about. Think about Binding of Isaac. Okay? I'm not saying this game is nowhere near as good as Binding of Isaac. I mean, I think it's hard to compare those types of games, but Binding of Isaac is a near masterpiece, in my opinion. I mean, it's got its issues, of course, but it is such a great game that I spent like hundreds of hours on. Anyway, Binding of Isaac is a weird game. It is a game that has religious symbols and religious ideas, and it's kind of anti-religious, and it's dark and gross and creepy, and there's poop. Like, it is a complete departure from like Super Meat Boy, and that's a big reason why I feel like it's only on PC, like through Steam and like self-published. But I guess they had help from Newgrounds. But think about that, like how weird and gross and crazy that is. And the only reason that Edmund McMillen is still able to make games, weird, crazy, creepy games, is because there's an audience for it. Like, if there was no audience for it, I'm sure he'd eventually have to get a job, like, working, like, as a normal graphic designer or, you know, like, someone with a boring job. But because of indie, like, the indie scene, and because of people like PewDiePie and, like, a lot of us, like, you know, me or Northern Lion or Mathis or Green99 or Jason with OTR, especially Rock Lee Smile, there's an audience out there for these indie developers to look and see, hey, if I make this weird game, I'm not going to have to live in my parents' basement anymore. In fact, I might be able to just make more weird games, and I love that. I appreciate the risk that this development team took. I really do. And I hope that, you know, Goat Simulator does well. I don't think it deserves to be the next best-selling game, but if it is, great. I don't have any problem with somebody making money off of a piece of art that they feel like they worked really hard on. Because I like this game. And I really hope it does do well. And I hope that they, you know, kind of take this as a break, and then they go back to making games like Sanctum, because I really think that Sanctum was good, but maybe think about it this way. You know, maybe they had to make this because nobody bought Sanctum. I don't know. I don't know how many people bought Sanctum, but I really liked that game. But even I didn't do a video on it. I never made a video on Sanctum. So I guess that's my fault. But anyways, guys, I will get off my my high horse or high goat. There's a lot of things I haven't looked at in this game, so don't think like, oh, you showed everything off. There's nothing else to see. There's still a lot to see, and just getting a grasp on the controls is kind of a big part of it. And just experimenting a bit, like with like grabbing onto people and seeing how different objects interact with them, like having a guy get hit by a car instead of you, like, you know, it's kind of cool. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. There will be a link in the description below to get to this game. Like I said, it comes out April 1st, but if you pre-order on their website, you get an early Steam code. Fuck the police. You get an early Steam code. Essentially, it's the same. It's not early access. It's the actual game. You just get it earlier. But thanks for watching, guys. I'm Panda Gamer. Be sure to like this video. Comment down below telling me what you think of this crazy, weird game. And I hope you like it. And I guess I'm going to end this video by getting stuck in the fence. Nope, I got unstuck in the fence. Good job, Goat. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.